All right, getting back to Masters of Horror, we've got Lucky McKee's Sick Girl, and man, I haven't seen this in a while. And now this might have had some influence because I did watch this with my fiance, um, but she fucking loved this, and her loving it was making me love it. I had such a good time with this. I thought that this was so great. I had such a fun time. This is just a fun one. This one's super fun. And after coming off of the super underwhelming Fair Hair Child, this was a great return to form here. There's definitely been some ones that I'm not a huge fan of, Dance of the Dead, and then Fair Hair Child and whatnot. But Sick Girl is definitely one of my favorites so far, for sure. Now, I have seen this before, but revisiting this bumped it up. This is a very memorable one for me now, mostly because of Angela Bettis and how hilarious her voice and her performance is in this. It's the voice that she does. It's actually become a thing between Kaylee and I now, where she actually sends me messages in that voice that she talks in. She's got this real deep, like, manly, awkward voice that she talks to her bugs with. It's really super, super funny. And I wish I could imitate her right now, but I don't know. I'll fuck it up. But it is really funny. You have to watch it. I'm not going to butcher it right now, but man, it's good. And we find out that she stood up in the beginning because she likes bugs, and then her friend that she works with tells her that she needs to not mention that she likes bugs and to basically get in on this person by falsifying who she actually is. This is horrible, dreadful advice and is to not be listened to. Trust me, I've been on the other end of this. I've been with somebody who was pretending to be somebody to get my attention, to get me to be their boyfriend, to get me to be their lover, whatever. This has happened to me multiple times, actually. And then they'll actually come clean and be like, hey, I was just trying to impress you. I actually don't really like these things, or I don't really act like that. I just thought that's something you would like. And then they're all baffled when I'm like, okay, well, that's what I did like about you, and now you're telling me that's not you. And so I started to like somebody for who you weren't, and now you're presenting yourself as someone who you are, and I don't like that person, and you're mad at me for not liking that person. Well, then present yourself as a real person, and then I can make a perfect judgment of what I do and do not like about you. I don't have to have that adjusted later and then go, I did like all those things about her, but then she took them away from me, and now I'm not really sure what to feel. I know one thing. She lied to me. She lied to me to try to manipulate me into liking her. Not okay. So if you like bugs, or if you like pina coladas and getting caught in the rain, whatever it is you like it. Be you. And if people are like, oh, if you don't catch any fish, change your bait. Bullshit. You keep throwing that same rusty ass hook in the water with the lamest bait ever. That's your bait. Okay? Accept your bait. Roll with your bait. Don't try to church it up. Don't try to fucking, make it much more appealing than it is. Fuck that. Be you. Because I feel like why a lot of relationships suck is because people pretend to be people that they're not, and then they get with people because of those things, and then once the relationship starts to become comfortable, then people start to say, well, you know what, I don't really have to fake it anymore because they love me. No, they love who you pretended to be. So don't fucking act surprised when they leave your ass or are miserable, because you're not who you presented yourself to be. And this is true with anything, right? And that's salesmanship, right? The salesman, but we know salesmen to be crooks a lot of the times. They sell you the car that's the lemon, knowing it's a lemon, but they sell it to you because they're fucking criminals. They sell you an inferior product for an upsell charge because they're fucking swindlers. And this is the same to be said of people who pretend to be something they're not to get a partner. Fuck you. Be yourself. The end. Be yourself. Be yourself. I don't want to be myself. Anyways. Rant over. It's just super lame. Okay, it's just super lame. I have dated a lot of girls in my life, and I was always me. If nothing else, I never pretended to be anything that I wasn't. And a lot of my ex-girlfriends are my ex-girlfriends for that very reason, because they didn't like that guy. They don't like how much I talk. They don't like how much I think about these things. They don't like my political analysis. They don't like my, slant, my skeptic behavior. And they don't like how blunt I am. And they don't like, whatever. But that's who I am. I'm blunt. I'm a skeptic. I lean a certain way politically. Whatever, that's me. If you don't like it, fuck off, right? I'll find the girl who does. And I have. So, be you. Be you. And I guarantee you, the right person will come along. But if they don't, even if they don't, would you rather be with someone who you're pretending to be somebody or not? And have that person resent you, and you live a lie, and you settle? Would you rather settle with somebody or be alone? Alone for me, 100%. 100% alone. But anyways, that went on for a long time. It's just stuff that I really feel like a lot of people need to hear. A lot of people need to hear. Because as a hairdresser, I listen to people talk about their relationships all the time, and I am extremely underwhelmed with a good majority of the relationships I talk with about. Or talk about. I think the with was unnecessary. That I talk about. The people that I come in, I talk with them about it. I think that's where the with came from. And they're settling. I think the majority of people settle. Because time goes on and they think they should be married by now, and then they start to, give away things that they thought were requirements, and then they go, well, I don't know, maybe I'm being too picky, and then they start letting things go, and they start, don't do that. Be you. And in this, she tries to pretend. And then what happens? The girl comes over, and the girl's actually really into the shit that she's into. And she should have just been herself from the get. But then we find the girl's actually been obsessed with her and in love with her for years, which, a hot babe like this, because this girl that she runs into, Angela Bettis, the other girl in this movie, is fucking gorgeous. Super fucking beautiful. And, the odds of actually someone coming, falling in love with you and actually like kind of following you around and drawing pictures of you and being obsessive, which I've always talked about this too, that I've always found this funny. People, not the only difference, but in most cases, the only difference between a creep and a romantic is if somebody's into them. That's it. So this girl's hot, right? And she's into this girl. So the fact that she's been following her and drawing her and stalking her is hot. It's romantic, right? But if this person wasn't attractive, or if this person wasn't into them, then all of those exact same things would be seen as creepy. It would be seen as stalkerish. Isn't that funny? It's always been funny to me. I used to work with a bunch of girls at the salon, but now we've moved, and we only have 2 chairs in the salon. But I used to work with a lot of girls, and they'd get like flowers from some guy, and they'd be like, "Oh my God, that's so romantic!" And then they go and they find out who it would be, and they go, "It's that guy." Oh my God, no, that's great. He's creepy. I don't want roses from him. And I'm like, it was romantic if you thought it was from some other guy. But it's not romantic from him, and they're like, he's just creepy. And I'm like, has he ever done anything to you? And they're like, no, not really. I just don't. He's so ugly and this and that. And it's like, it's still romantic. It's still romantic, but he's a creep, man. And they're like, oh man, should I call? I don't know, maybe I should get a restraining order or something. And I'm like, for sending flowers? Oh my God. And I try to talk to him like, has he harassed you? Is he following you home? Is he being a total creep? But then as I said, if you're into them, then they follow you around and they learn everything about you. That's the romance movies, right? You get those romance movies where the guy's like, I know everything about you. I mean, Groundhog Day is a straight up stalker's fucking wet dream. He follows this girl around forever, learns every single thing about her, and then uses it to manipulate her to fall in love with him, because he's fallen in love with her by finding everything out about her. His love is genuine, but he has stalked the fuck out of her, and this girl is unbeknownst to her. He's met her a million times in the past, and we see it as romance. But then if the guy, you could play it as he's a creep, right? Easily. So let's stick to the thing real quick. We can get this over pretty quick. A lot of ranting tonight on this one. a lot of me trying to tell you what you should do with your life. Don't listen to me. Actually, you probably should on some of those things, but it's your life. Do whatever you want with it. Let's see. I already mentioned that girl's a babe. She talks like a weirdo man. Yeah, that's what I wrote for it. Yeah, the voice that she does. God, I want to try to do it so bad, but I can't think of a line she says, and I feel like if I could come up with a line, like the way she talks, and now I fucked it up. See, I can't do it. It's Kaylee does it really well though. She sent me a couple messages, and I laugh every time. It's really, really funny. I need to watch that scene again so I can try to mimic it more. It's so good. Then she finds this bug in her food at this Chinese restaurant with her colleague, and everyone exits the restaurant immediately because that bug's in there. And then they kind of like analyze it, and they're all like stoked on it, like, oh wow, it's an actual bug from China, Chinese food that's actually from China. This place rules. That line's fantastic, so funny, and it talks really well to the kind of characters that they are. That they're these like weirdo bug people. And the girls that are dating in this movie are both so awkward, and it's great. I love that stuff too. And her friend is a total creep, but also like a good friend in the end. He actually gives his life to come and run over there, but he's like talking to her, and this is like the epitome of men, right? Like he's got the gay girlfriend, and he's talking to her about her current girlfriend, and he's sitting in bed, and he's putting his hands down his pants, and he's just like, tell me everything, tell me the details. And he's gonna jack off to the thought of his friend fucking another woman. This is just men are pathetic creatures, and all they care about is hot lesbo sex, which we get in this, and we see tits, and they're amazing, and the film is all the better for it. And they are absolutely adorable together, and I actually really buy into their romance, and it's very endearing and very cute, and I love all of it. They fall in love and they move in together so fast. I am not one to comment on this at all. When you know, people. Let me tell you something. From my experience, as of recent, when you know, and I always knew if I knew I'd know, and I did. 100%. So I am not gonna say shit about this, nor would I have ever in the past. I've never been that guy that's been like, oh, you guys are moving too fast and they slow things down. Bullshit. When you know, the end of discussion. The landlord manager chick is this homophobic bitch, terrible, horrible person that you just want to see dead at any moment. The way she talks to them and how old school conservative she is, bleh. She's like everything wrong with the people in this country. Oh my God, she's like the perfect archetype of like everything I hate about a person all in one. And I don't know how she's dated this chick with her ear all fucked up and gooey like that for so long, and they've been having all this sex and they've been hanging out all the time. How she could possibly not see that, I have no clue, and it doesn't make any sense. Another thing in here, and I actually know somebody who believes this and is close to my life, and I want to punch their fucking face in because of it, but the landlord manager chick, she somehow equates homosexuality to pedophilia. This is insane. And the person I know who thinks this is very scientific, is a very scientific brained person, and there are zero facts to support that. None. I've actually looked this up, and the likelihood of someone being a pedophile is exactly the same if you're gay or straight. So there are gay pedophiles and there are straight pedophiles in the exact same proportion, percentage-wise. So there's no evidence to support such an insane claim. But because you like girls, you must like little girls too. So that only plays if you're into the same sex, though, right? Like, I like girls, but I don't like little girls because I'm supposed to like girls. But if you're a woman and you like girls, they somehow think you also must like little girls too. The jump there is insane. That's fucking sane. And the person that I know that's close to my fucking life that thinks this is one of the things, like, might be the only thing that I straight up like don't even want to talk to this person. Like that is so unbelievably insanely stupid that I don't even know how to like it's extremely like damaging to people's lives. Like to claim that someone's a pedophile because they're homosexual, as if they don't have enough to overcome in this society, whilst there's still homophobes out there, that they now have to kind of deal with like pedophilic claims. That's how do people come up with this shit? How do people make that jump? I like guys, and I'm a guy, so I must like little boys. What? What? So every chick who likes guys is into little boys? That's the fucking mentality. They're perverts. They're perverts. They're deviants. Like, I've always, ever since I was a kid, I've always been like I totally understand. I totally understand lesbians. Like, I love women. When I look at women, I think they're amazing. I look at their tits, I look at their body, I look at their face, I look at the whole package, and I'm like, yes, they're amazing. And when another woman comes around and is like, look at them, they're amazing, am I going to be like, what are you talking about? They're not amazing. What's wrong with you? You must like little kids. Of course not. I know because I'm looking at what they're looking at, and I agree with them. So the same goes for a woman who's into men. How could they ever be like, how could you possibly see that man as attractive? I mean, I see that man as attractive, but you're not supposed to see that man as attractive. It's fucking hypocritical nonsense. So that's how I've always been able to justify homosexuality, is because I can't explain why I like women. I just so happen to be born in a world where that is agreeable, that I'm a man that likes women, and, you know, that's the norm. So I've never had to get shit for that. But I can assure you for 100%, if I liked men as much as I like women, and I lived on a planet where that was unacceptable, like I do, and I had to live like that, like let's say I lived on a planet where men liking women was taboo, like men liking men is on this one. Now, of course, that's lenient. That's a little more lenient than it once was. But let's say I grew up in a time where that was just completely frowned upon. As much as I love women, imagine as a straight man, imagine if someone told you that society has deemed that you have to be with another man. I have no attraction to men at all, like none. 100% I would tell you if I did. 100% I would. You know me, I don't give a fuck. I would 100% tell you the truth. I have no attraction to men at all. There's definitely good looking men. Like, there's dudes that I fucking see in Hollywood and I'm like, Jesus Christ, that's a good looking dude. And I have like quote unquote man crushes on like a Ryan Gosling or a Jake Gyllenhaal or something. But I don't actually want to fuck them. I don't want to touch them. I look at them and I'm like, I think it's kind of like you know, I appreciate the way they look because I wish I looked like that in a way. You know what I mean? That's basically all it is. So imagine being forced to fuck a guy like daily, and like do his laundry and clean his dishes and all that shit, and make him dinner and pretend that you were into him. Could you? Could you? If that's what society called for, and you had the reproductive organs that made life, bullshit, you would. I wouldn't. I'd be out behind the scenes fucking women, 100%. Because of how much I'm into women, I could never give them up. And how much I'm not into men, 100% I could not. 100% I could not. So that has always been my argument about the whole like homosexuality thing. It's like, they didn't pick this way. Trust me. Who purposely picks to be, you know, hated on like that? Anyways, God, I don't know if I've talked about this movie much, but all these things seem very, very important to talk about. So, anyways, basically, yeah, the friend gets the call. The best, one of the coolest parts about this when it comes to like the horror aspects of it is when the girl actually turns into the bug, and the way she looks is great. I love the makeup on that. It's actually scary. It's real spooky, real scary looking shit. And then we find out that her dad was the one that sent Angela Bettis the bug to kill her, because his daughter was obsessed with her, and he didn't approve of the homosexuality and was like, I'm gonna kill this bitch because he's like some bug doctor expert guy. Can you be a can you be a doctor from bugs? Probably. Yeah. You just got a PhD in that, right? Yeah, then they end up getting pregnant together, and at the end they're gonna have 100 babies. That reminds me of what movie is that? You like him. Oh, you want to have 10,000 of his babies. American Beauty. That's what it is. American Beauty. You love him. You want to have like 10,000 of his babies. Mina Savari. But yeah, anyways, I ranted and raved a lot there. I think I've talked about this episode for maybe 5 minutes of this and just kind of went off on tangents for another 15. But a lot of you say that you love that stuff and you really got your money's worth today. Holy shit, I just talked for 2 straight hours about Thinner, Jason X, Troll 2, and Sick Girl with not literally 2 seconds of break in between each. I'm done. I've had it. And I'm not recording again for like a fucking week. Anyways, this is a super fun episode. And shout out to my fiance. I love you. Adios.